Welcome back, my holistic soul sisters. It's me, Mandy Rose, your relational astrologer. In today's video, we are talking all about the new moon eclipse that's happening in the zodiac sign of Scorpio. And this is actually going to be a 222 portal. We have repeating numbers. We have the planet Venus that's involved. So as a relational astrologer, you know that my goal is to help you have better relationships with yourself by not only understanding your personal birth chart, but also what's going on in the astro weather, and therefore having better relationships with others. And with Venus directly involved with this eclipse, this is a very relationship focused energy. So we're going to talk all about that in this video. I'm going to break down a little bit about what are eclipses. We're going to talk more about this eclipse cycle that we're currently in that's happening in the zodiac signs of Taurus and Scorpio. And then we will dive into this new moon in Scorpio, what that means, what happens when we have a new moon in Scorpio, which happens every single year. This year though, however, it is an eclipse. So we're going to talk more specifically about this one in 2022, what we can expect, what are the other planets doing at the time of this eclipse, and what lesson are they helping us learn at this time. And of course, like I do at the end of all my new and full moon videos, I give you ritual ideas that you can do around the time of this new moon to maximize this energy. So we got to start off with the basics, but just know that this eclipse is going to be very, very potent. We have this energy of the feminine and masculine, this Mars and Venus, this Taurus and Scorpio, this cycle that's playing out that's helping us step into the areas of our life where we have to take action, where we have to create change, where we have to find transformation so we can let go of the old and step into the new. But we also at the same time are having to balance that action taking with receiving and going with the flow, tapping into our feminine energy and allowing the universe to bring to us, allowing God, our source, our divine, to provide for us things that are in alignment with our soul's mission. And that can be hard because sometimes as humans, we want to take action, we want to do, we want to go, but when really we sometimes need to let go and we have to release and we have to allow things to come to us that are meant for us. So let's go ahead and start off with this video talking all about the basics of this new moon in Scorpio that is a partial solar eclipse. So starting off with this solar eclipse is happening on Tuesday, October 25th at 6:49 a.m. and that is Eastern Standard Time. So you're going to want to go ahead and adjust for your specific time zone. Now, this new moon is happening at 2 degrees of Scorpio. That means that the sun is at 2 degrees, the moon is at 2 degrees. So I'm going to pull up the chart here real quick before we dive into what the eclipses are all about. But we're going to see here from the chart that the sun, like I said, is at 2 degrees, the moon is at 2 degrees, and we also have Venus at 2 degrees. That means at the time of this new moon solar eclipse, Venus is smashed into the chaos. Now, we're going to talk more about Venus and who she is and what she represents in the astrology, but know that she is really struggling at this time, and Venus ruling our relationships and what we love and who we love and the things that we value. She also rules over our money and our finances. So those things at this time can feel a little debilitated. Now, also, like I mentioned, this is a 222 portal because 2 degrees for Sun, Moon, and Venus, and it's also happening in 2022, which also has 3 2s in it. So what does repeating 2s represent? Well, when you see 222 on your alarm clock, you see 222, when you're driving down the street on a billboard, 222 is a sign from your spirit guides, your angels, a message from God in the universe that you're divinely protected. 222 is a message of, hey, we're with you. There's 2 of us. You're not alone. So just know, whatever chaos, whatever unexpected things come to you during this eclipse cycle, it is meant for you and you're not alone. Now, being a 222 portal is powerful enough, but it involves 3 very powerful celestial bodies. It involves the sun, which is our core, or who we are, our strengths, our weaknesses, like our person. It deals with the moon, which is our emotions, how we react emotionally, what we get triggered by, the external reaction that we have to things. And then it involves Venus, what we love, who we love, and our values. So a very powerful 222 alignment with the 3 planets that we really embody as humans, our core and who we are, our emotions and how we express ourselves, and what we love and who we love makes us who we are. So this new moon partial solar eclipse in Scorpio is going to be a very transformative energy. So with all of that, we need to back it up a moment and first talk about what are eclipses. Now, eclipses can only happen on new or full moons. So essentially it's a new moon on steroids or a full moon on steroids. A new moon eclipse is what we call a solar eclipse because it involves the sun and the moon conjunct in the sky. A full moon eclipse is what we call a lunar eclipse because it involves the moon separate from the sun. So those are the two differences. Now in astrology, we bring in that spiritual component and the energy involved. And essentially in astrology, when we have eclipses, we believe that they are moments in time where we are redirected. This is a cycle where external circumstances happen to us to get us back on track. And that is because it involves the north node of destiny and the south node of karma. So I'm going to pull up that chart again, and you can see here that right now we have the north node of destiny, which is the upright horseshoe in the zodiac sign of Taurus. And directly across the sky in the zodiac sign of Scorpio, we have the upside down horseshoe, and that is the south node of karma. Now, something to understand here is that the eclipses happen in pairs. So there's always going to be an eclipse in opposite signs. So we could have Taurus, Scorpio. We recently came out of the Gemini, Sagittarius. The next cycle we're going to have then is Aries and Libra. So they always come in the pair of opposite zodiac signs. Now, we say that they're destined and they're fated. We have less free will around eclipses because the north node is what is destined for us. It is happening for us to bring in new. So there's new opportunities, new possibilities, new chapters unfolding, new people, new prosperity, new in that specific area. And that's what we're growing towards. The south node, therefore, is the karmic point. So that's the area of life currently in this eclipse cycle where we need to release, we need to let go of, we need to shed some things because that chapter is done, it's over, and it needs to be closed. So eclipses have this bad rap and there's a little bit of fear around them. But as an astrologer, I always like eclipses because they are external things that are happening to you. It's not really something you have to work for, that you have to do. It's not something necessarily that you're actively letting go of. It's more or less that there's external circumstances, things that are happening around you that are causing you, because we have free will, to make certain decisions, to go in a certain direction, or to walk away from certain things. And I enjoy that because as a human, I have a really hard time with change. I don't want to let things go. I want to take a whole suitcase of stuff with me into the next chapter of my life, even though I know it's not good for me and it's weighing me down. And also I have fear sometimes of stepping into a new chapter, wondering if it's the right path for me, wondering if it's the direction I'm supposed to go in, right? But eclipses, in the season of eclipses, when things happen externally as an astrologer, I go, oh, okay, I'm seeing this change happen. I know it's happening around eclipses. This is an alignment. This is directing me. And that's something I want you to leave with. If there is something that's happening in your life during this eclipse cycle that is starting now on the 25th with this new moon in Scorpio, and in 2 weeks, we're gonna have a full moon in Taurus, another eclipse in this month span of energy. If there are new things coming into your life, it is not coincidence. It is not chance. It is not luck. It is meant for you. And vice versa, if things are being removed and stripped and opportunities are closing in your life, again, it's not bad luck. It's not, oh, I tried so hard and I must have failed. No, again, this is destiny and the universe and God realigning you and letting go of the things that you're too afraid to let go of. So it's a beautiful energy. The biggest advice I have around eclipses is, expect the unexpected, be comfortable with being uncomfortable, and at the end of the day, ride the wave. Ride the wave. This isn't a time to force, to control, to push. It's almost like release and let go. So that's what eclipses represent in astrology. Now we have eclipses that occur in 18-month cycles. So like I mentioned, the current cycle is in Taurus and Scorpio. And when this one is done, we will move into an 18-month cycle of Libra and Aries. So Scorpio and Taurus, this really began and kicked off back in April and May of 2022, where we had our first round of eclipses. We had a new moon in Taurus, and then we had a full moon in Scorpio. And that really brought the first round of energy of things into our lives that we need to embrace and move towards and let go of. So think back to April and May, what things in your life shifted, what changes came in, what opportunities were being presented to you. Because now in October and November, we're going through round number 2. Now eclipses, like I mentioned, happen in 18-month cycles. So there's 3 rounds. Round 1 was in the spring. We're now entering round 2 here in the fall, and we will have a 3rd round in the spring of next year. Now, the universe's message to us is, hey, I'm going to bring this up. I'm going to highlight this new opportunity. You don't have to take it. You can. Free will, remember. And I'm going to try and close this chapter. I'm going to indicate maybe it's time to let go of something. You do with it what you will. Now we're going into round 2, so the universe is going to test that again. Did you understand that maybe you need to switch jobs and take this new opportunity? Well, I'm going to give you another opportunity that's similar. Or maybe you were meant to leave a relationship back in the spring, but you didn't. You held on. You thought the person would change. Now maybe something will come up again, reminding you, hey, you really do need to let go of this relationship. So pay attention to the patterns that are happening in your lives between those 2 rounds of eclipses, because if we don't learn it the second time, the universe tends to sucker punch us the 3rd time, which would be in the spring. Now, being in Taurus and Scorpio, what does this mean? I don't want to harp too much on this. I talked a lot about that in the 2022 astrological forecast video. You can still go back and watch that video. I will link it for you to watch after this video. Even though we're all the way in October, there's still so much I talked about in that video that still applies today and now, so you can spend some time scrolling through that. But Taurus represents money. It is ruled by Venus, which is our values. It is pleasure and sensuality. It rules Mother Nature in the earth. And that's where the North Node of Destiny is. So that's the new energy we're moving towards as a society, as a collective. So embracing new things related to the earth, new ways of healing. It deals with holistic medicine, it deals with our sensuality and pleasure, and how can we bring a new pleasure into our life. Ruled by Venus, it's very Venusian, right? Beauty and love and harmony and peace and things that just feel so good to us. Those are the things we're meant to embrace. Taurus, also being the bull, rules money and the finances. And so looking at your budget, looking at how you're spending your money, how you're making your money, alternative streams of income, right? Bringing more money into your pocket. It rules assets and resources like gas and fuel and food. And so we're looking at new ways and new opportunities to acquire these things in our life. On the flip side, the eclipses, the south node in the sky, the upside down horseshoe, is in Scorpio, where we're supposed to be letting go as a collective, as a culture, as a community. And Scorpio rules deep psychological change. It deals with our traumas, our triggers, our fears. It deals with control and manipulation and jealousy and betrayal and loyalty. And these are the things we're kind of seeing in society that we're needing to let go of, right? And it's ruled by Mars. And so it's needing to force and needing to control, right? And we're really seeing the shift of stepping into the feminine, Taurus, ruled by Venus, and embracing abundance, embracing our love, embracing beauty and our sensuality, and letting go of that Mars, Scorpio, dark, deep trauma, trigger, fear, obsession, jealousy. That's what we got to let go of. And we're all learning that lesson in one way or another in our lives. So as these cycles occur, these are kind of themes that are coming up, dealing with our feminine and our masculine, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video. Now, where it's playing out in your birth chart is going to make it more specific to your life. So in all the birth chart readings I've been doing in 2022, we've been talking heavily about this eclipse cycle and how it might be playing out for you. So I'll give you a quick example. For me, I am a Scorpio rising, meaning Scorpio falls in my first house, which is the house of the physical self. Our appearance, our attitude, the way we dress, the way we project ourselves, the way that we're seen in the world. Now, Taurus, for me, directly opposite in the sky, is therefore in my 7th house, which is the house of relationships, of partnerships, of deep, intimate connection with others. And that's where the North Node is in my chart during this eclipse cycle. So that's the energy I'm meant to embrace, new relationships, new partnerships, being with others, right? And so I'm releasing my identity of who I've been up to this point. I'm releasing the way I used to dress, or the way that I used to appear to others, or the way that I used to present myself, and stepping into a new version of that so that I can have better relationships, more harmony, more connection, more intimacy. So wherever it falls in your chart, that's going to be how it plays out. So I will be picking up birth chart readings in November. Again, I took a pause in October to write the Retrograde Astrology Journal, which will be available for purchase in just a couple weeks, so stand by for that. But I will be picking up birth chart readings, and we will be talking about this Taurus and Scorpio eclipse cycle within your chart more specifically. Also, just to throw this in there real quick, if you are interested in getting information about your own chart in this eclipse cycle, on the 25th of October, on that evening, which is the day of this eclipse, on Zoom, I am hosting a virtual workshop. It is an eclipse workshop. You're going to bring your birth chart. I'm going to help you dive into your own chart and understand what's going on specifically for you. And then we're going to wrap up that workshop with a new moon ritual that we're going to do together. So if you're someone that's been wondering how to do rituals around a new or full moon, we're going to do one together. There'll be journal prompts. I'll give you some guidance, and we're going to focus on this new moon eclipse energy. So I hope you'll join me. To purchase tickets, you'll find it in the description box below, but know that that's what I'll be offering to help you understand this eclipse cycle. Now we need to move into this new moon in Scorpio energy. Now this happens every single year. So first, before we can even talk about this eclipse in 2022 that's happening, where I pull up the chart and guide you through the lessons we're meant to be learning, we first need to understand what a new moon in Scorpio is even about. New moons, new beginnings, new chapters, new fresh starts, new ways of being, new opportunities, new intentions we can set in the Scorpio area of our life. So for me, it's again in my first house. So I'm setting new intentions of the clothes I want to buy, the clothes I want to get rid of, the things I don't want to wear anymore. How do I want to be seen in the world, right? So embracing that energy. Now for you, that's going to be different, but let's talk about Scorpio in general. When we have a new moon in Scorpio, Scorpio again rules deep psychological trauma. It is a fixed energy. In astrology, we call it fixed energy, which means that whatever it decides and whatever it wants, it's pretty stubborn. It's pretty solid in its energy. Scorpio is also a water element. So when we have a new moon in Scorpio, there's always this water emotion that comes with it. So we can feel very emotionally triggered at this time, very emotionally invested in the things that are happening. Remember, eclipses are external circumstances, and you can feel very emotionally reactive because Scorpio is a deep, deep, deep emotional connection to things. Scorpio is also our intuition. Scorpio rules the occult world, the woo-woo world. It rules our intuitive abilities, our psychic abilities. So around a new moon, when the sky is dark, remember when there's a new moon, we cannot see the moon. We can't see anything because it's pitch dark out. And so when it's dark, we have to trust our intuition, just like the animals in the forest, right? Trust our intuition of whether we should go left or right, make this decision, keep this in our life or let it go. And so this new moon offers an opportunity to sit in the darkness, in the stillness, in the quiet, and feel our intuition. Tap into your psychic abilities. Even if you don't think you have any, honestly, just a quiet meditation, you can get insights and ahas. Now, you can use tarot cards, pendulums, oracle cards. You can do writing. Sometimes just writing things down, all of a sudden ideas and thoughts, your spirit guides and God can talk to you as you're writing. Things can just come to you. It's a great opportunity every year around a new moon in Scorpio to embrace this energy. The other thing that we kind of mentioned is Taurus, opposite Scorpio in the sky, deals with money, finances, our assets and resources. But Scorpio also deals with money. But it's a different kind of money. It's money that is flowing between parties. So it's usually other people's money. So marriages, business partnerships. It can deal with money that's held in other situations. So banks, stock markets. It can be inheritances or taxes, money that comes to you through like luck or lottery or a windfall, unexpected kind of money, maybe a rebate that shows up in the mail, something you overpaid like a bill. So Scorpio also has a financial element to it. So this is a new moon. So again, new moons, new beginnings, new chapters, new starting of cycles. Maybe there's a financial newness that comes to your life. Maybe there's new opportunity. Maybe you get married and your partner has extra money. Maybe you get an inheritance of some sort. So new moon in Scorpio does have a financial component to it. Again, being an eclipse this year is an unexpected, right? A destined, a fated kind of involvement with those things. Now, another thing to understand about Scorpio energy is it's ruling the area of life that has to do with transformation, death, and rebirth. A lot of people get really scared around Scorpio energy because it rules death, but it's not death necessarily in a literal sense. It's more about the ability to shed our skin, to transform, to let go of old, let things die out in our life so that there is space for new life, for this rebirth. Scorpio is represented by like the phoenix rising from the ashes, from the rubble, from the darkness. So there's this heavy transformative energy. And with it being an eclipse, it's even more powerful. But every year on a new moon in Scorpio, you have this opportunity for transformation. And lastly, Scorpio deals with everything that you don't talk about at the dining room table. So sex and intimacy, like I mentioned, death and rebirth, the occult world, like astrology and tarot cards and psychics and mediums, those kind of things. So know that this sexuality and passion and intimacy component can also come up. Now, being where the south node of karma is, and this releasing of trauma and triggers and this emotional depth of Scorpio, this might be a time where you're really starting a new chapter, a new beginning, setting a new intention to let go of some old traumas or triggers around your sexuality, around your intimacy, or your ability to maybe not be intimate with others. I bring that up because I think with the sexual component of our society and the way that we are taught to be in relationships, that sometimes we can traumatize ourselves with expectations. And instead of being intuitive with your own self and saying, what does sexuality mean to me? What do I want that to look like within a partnership? And not trying to meet the expectations of someone else in partnership or what they might want, but stepping into your own power sexually, stepping into your own desire for passion and intimacy. Oftentimes, like I mentioned, Scorpio deals with woo-woo things you don't talk about at the dining room table. And talking about wanting intimacy and wanting sexuality and wanting pleasure can be seen as taboo or maybe something you shouldn't talk about. But this is a time to step into that and release a lot of those traumas and triggers and deep psychological beliefs you have around your sexuality and your desire for intimacy, and let it go so you can again birth new into this new chapter and version of yourself. So that is the new moon in Scorpio energy that we have every single year. And so now I would love to dive in more to the specifics of this new moon in Scorpio happening in 2022, the partial solar eclipse. And so with that, let's go ahead and pull up the chart here. Now, again, like we mentioned earlier, this is that 222 portal energy. We're going to find the sun and the moon in the chart. We can see it at 2 degrees of Scorpio, and right smashed into that energy is Venus, also at 2 degrees of Scorpio. Now, the ruling planet of this new moon in Scorpio, every year we have that new moon in Scorpio, and the ruling planet is always Mars. Now, Mars and Pluto actually co-rule. One is the traditional ruler and one is the modern ruler. But all in all, just know that it's a Mars-ruled eclipse. Now, why is this important? Because again, like I mentioned, all the eclipses happening in Taurus are Venus-ruled. And all the eclipses happening in Scorpio are Mars-ruled. So Mars is the ruler of this eclipse, but Venus is actually smashed in there. And again, Venus is what we love, who we love. It rules our value systems and our beauty and our money and our creativity and all that feminine, beautiful, flowing energy. And when she's stuck in an eclipse energy like this, she's not comfortable. Now, every time Venus gets to Scorpio, it's what we call she's debilitated. She doesn't enjoy it because Scorpio is deep and it is all about betrayal and obsession and loyalty, and it's heavy, and it can deal with our traumas and triggers and things that like we need to address to transform us. But she wants to be in flow. She just got out of Libra, and Libra is her home. She is in her chariot. She's in her full power. And now she steps into Scorpio at 2 degrees. She just got here 2 days before this eclipse. And she enters Scorpio, an area she doesn't enjoy being, and she immediately gets smashed in the face with an eclipse. So our love and our relationships and the things that we value, even our money at this time, can feel really debilitated, really heavy, really confined. So give yourself some patience and grace around this time. Give your relationship some patience and grace. As a relational astrologer, remember, we're going to focus on what Venus is up to. And at this time, it's kind of more challenging. So we have to step into that energy. Other thing to note is when Venus is so close to the sun, it's what we call a Venus cazimi. On the 22nd of October, just a few days before this eclipse, she entered into that cazimi with the sun. Now, she's been traveling with the sun through the zodiac sign of Libra for almost the entire month of October. So they've been side by side, which is bringing beautiful energy to us. But when she gets right into the sun, she's inside the sun. So she's not really getting burned because she's inside, she is one with the sun. So we can see being at 2 degrees the sun and 2 degrees of Venus, she's just kind of smashed in there. But in the days after the eclipse, after the energy has kind of formulated, she will be leaving her conjunction with the sun, where she will be outside of the sun and she will be affected by the rays of the sun. So she's getting burned. Things are feeling hot. Things are getting volatile, right? Imagine the sun here and Venus here. She's kind of protected. But as she moves away, she's getting burned by the sun's rays. So you might feel like hot and heat and getting burnt up in the things that you value in your relationships and what you love and who you love and like wanting some self-care. So pay attention to the energy more so after the eclipse when it comes to these areas of your life. And being in Scorpio, remember Scorpio can deal with our money, it can deal with our sexuality, it can deal with our intuition, and Venus rules what we value. So pay attention at this time. Do you have some fears coming up, some triggers that need to be transformed, Scorpio, around your money, around what you value and how you value money? Because these are kind of the themes that we're seeing in the collective, but I'm also seeing them in a lot of people's charts. Now, going back to our chart ruler, Mars and Pluto in the sky, they are what we call in a quincunx. They are 150 degrees apart from each other. And why is that important? Well, because that's kind of a harmonious energy. They're kind of working together. Even though they're both the rulers of this eclipse in one way or another, they're saying, hey, let's kind of work together. Now, Mars is about to go into retrograde. He is slowing down, and in 5 days from this eclipse, he is going to go retrograde, which he hates. Mars wants to be in the left lane, foot on the gas pedal, speeding down the highway at full steam ahead towards his destiny, right? Mars is action, it's passion, it's primal, it's instinctual. I want to go here and I want to do it, right? That masculine energy of I'm going to take it because it's mine. And Pluto is the god of the underworld, and he's more about the control, the manipulation, the secrecy, like how am I going to get what I want, right? Like I'm going to kind of formulate what I want in this underworld way, and then Mars is going to take action on that, right? And so Pluto just got out of retrograde, and he's kind of now back in his power. So at this time, we're kind of seeing these planets work together for us to kind of see, all right, what do we want? Where are we trying to control? How are we going to take action in the direction that we really want that is true for us? Because again, Scorpio is about that death and rebirth. We have to let go of something, but we have to take action in the direction we want to go. And with it being a new moon, new chapters, new opportunities, new things coming to life, it's just going to be a beautiful energy. We just have to really get clear, right? Tap into the Scorpio intuition. Remember, Scorpio is very psychic, it's very intuitive, it's emotional, it's water energy, it's tapping into that feminine of being able to feel what's right and wrong for you. Now, with Mars being 150 degrees away from this new moon, he can't really see what's going on. He rules Scorpio. He's at home at Scorpio, but he's so far away from Scorpio in the zodiac sign of Gemini that he can't quite see what's going on at home. So he knows there's chaos. He just can't see it. So why is that important? Well, Mars is really on his own path right now. He's like, all right, I know what's happening at home. The kids are okay. The wife is okay. There might be some messes on the floor and the wife, is going to handle it. I don't really need to know what's going on. I know it's going to be okay. So I need to work on what I'm doing away from home. And that is Mars and Gemini about to go retrograde, teaching us a whole different lesson. And I'll have a separate video on this, but know that Mars and Gemini, as he goes retrograde, is about slowing down the mind. Slowing down, needing to do everything all the time, right? The twins is this and that. I want it all. It is social, it is mental, it is curious. When he goes retrograde, we got to slow down. We got to come up with a game plan. We got to get clear about the direction we're taking before we get way too far off track. And these eclipses that are going to happen right now, this new moon on the 25th of October, and the next eclipse, which is that full moon in Taurus on November 8th, is going to bring us the external circumstances to bring clarity. So again, it might feel uncomfortable as things are being taken out or new things are coming in and you feel like you don't know which way to go. It's not coincidence. This is all in alignment, and Mars is going to go retrograde to say, hold on, don't jump in right away. Slow down, take a step back. Let's realign. Let's come up with a game plan. And so there's this whole Mars on a separate mission, even though he's the ruler of this eclipse. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. I know I repeat a lot, but there's a lot of ways to say this information. And again, astrology is not predictive. It is showing you where the energy is, and you have free will to do with it what you need, but also understand there's a reason for the chaos and there's lessons meant to be learned around this time. Now, the other planets that are happening in alignment with this eclipse, one being Jupiter. Jupiter is at 0 degrees of Aries. He is just 2 days away from going back into the zodiac sign of Pisces. So, 2 degrees the sun, 2 degrees the moon, 2 degrees of Venus is in an alignment with Jupiter at 0 degrees of Aries. Jupiter brings expansion and growth and blessing and prosperity, and he has a lot of wisdom. So he's going to help us with this eclipse of the things that are coming in and the things we need to let go of making them being prosperous, of them being blessings, maybe not right away, but definitely in the long run, and giving us the wisdom and the experience and the aha to know that this is our path. So that is a beautiful alignment that we can see at this time. Now, the other thing we can see here from the chart is that Mercury is at 22 degrees of Libra. So another 2-2 repetitive number. And Mercury is the messenger. He wants to communicate. He wants to give us ideas and thoughts, right? He rules the mind and our ability to speak and communicate with others. Being in Libra and that 2-2 connection to the 2-2-2 energy of the eclipse shows us that Mercury is going to help us. Now, being in Libra in the sky, he can't really see what's going on in the eclipse because he's almost like too close that his vision is blinded. But we know that being in Libra is about peace and balance and harmony. So whatever is going on, Mercury in Libra is going to give us the ability to communicate to others in a more gentle, peaceful, negotiating way. So we do have that positive alignment, and I do enjoy that around the time of this eclipse. Now, because this eclipse cycle, this is round 2, we're having this new moon in Scorpio eclipse on October 25th, but we had a full moon in Scorpio back on May 16th. So full moons are culminations, peaks, times of letting go. So what did you have to let go of in mid-May? Because now the thing that you let go of, you cleared the runway by letting that go. So that could be you let go of a relationship, you let go of items in your home, maybe you let go of your home entirely, maybe you let go of a career, maybe you let go of friends, right? Whatever you let go of, what destiny was forcing you to release back at that full moon eclipse on May 16th in Scorpio, now we're having that new moon in Scorpio on the 25th of October. So you're getting to fill the area of life that you had to let go of. So this is going to be new opportunities. Maybe new friends come in. Maybe you now have an opportunity to move into a new home. Maybe you get a new relationship. Something new is coming in that same area of your life. And so whatever new intention, new beginning, new things, new, maybe even aha moments, it doesn't have to be physical things or changes in your reality. It could maybe be new ideas, new thought patterns, new ways of being, new ways of interacting, new energy, right? It doesn't have to be things that happen around eclipses, but that is then going to culminate and brew and be worked on for the next 6 months. Because in May of 2023, we will have another full moon in Scorpio. That's another eclipse. So we'll have 6 months of this kind of culminating energy that begins now on this new moon in Scorpio eclipse. And with that, we're going to wrap up this video. It's very potent energy at this time. So go with the flow, hold on to the surfboard. You might not know what direction you're going, but there's nothing to fear with eclipses. It may feel sudden and jolting and unexpected. We can see here from the chart, we didn't talk about Uranus, but Uranus is heavily involved. He's in the zodiac sign of Taurus, and he's at 17 degrees of Taurus. He's actually going to be directly involved in the next eclipse we're having in 2 weeks at that full moon in Taurus. It will be very Uranus focused. Now, Uranus is the planet of sudden jolting change, bringing things up very suddenly, taking things away very suddenly. Lightning, bolt, jackhammer, choose change before change chooses you is his motto. So whatever right now we're feeling, we're going to get some sudden unexpected things, but again, it's nothing to fear because it's all in alignment of your next chapter, your highest purpose, your mission, and where you're supposed to be going. So ride the wave, hold on to your surfboard. Even if you don't know where it's going to lead you, it's going to be okay. And know that the things happening externally around you and to you are not circumstances or bad luck. This is an alignment. So pay attention, honor it, and learn the lessons we're meant to be learning at this time, right? Check into your money. This is a very financial eclipse. what you love and how much you value things. Venus, right? Your emotions and the triggers and the traumas that you're holding around these Scorpio things in your life. Your sexuality, your connection to other people financially, external circumstances, that have to do with inheritances, or your stock market, or your budgets, things like that. And with Mars being the ruler of this eclipse in Gemini, he's going to be slowing us down. So understand if you're more tired, understand if you need more time to think about things, understand that maybe projects aren't meant to be begun, they're meant to be strategized so that you can execute them the right way in the next chapter of your life. And with that, like I do with all my new and full moon videos, I'm going to give you some ritual ideas that you can do around the time of this eclipse to maximize this energy. Now, I usually give you 3 things to do, but before I do that, I'm going to give you some don'ts for this eclipse. First thing I always like to preference as an astrologer, around the time of eclipses, you don't want to do traditional things like charging your crystals or making moon water or setting intentions. You don't want to really infuse things with eclipse energy because it's a little volatile, a little extreme, a little intense. And so I don't like to put my crystals outside under an eclipse new moon or an eclipse full moon. Also, I don't make moon water. I don't really set intentions. Again, we have a little less free will around eclipses, so I find setting intentions isn't beneficial for me. Now, it might work for you really well, but for me, I don't really want to set intentions. I want to let the universe do what it does when it comes to eclipses and bring me and guide me and show me through external circumstances the direction I'm supposed to be heading. So I don't really like to set intentions. I feel like then I'm trying to control. But again, this is individualized. I just say that to help you understand what the eclipse energy is all about. The other thing is, it's very important around eclipses to rest and retreat because there's such chaotic energy going on in the world. We can feel it in society, we can feel it in relationships, and the astrology kind of matches that chaotic energy as we're going through this transformation, Scorpio, death and rebirth, as we're Phoenix rising from the ashes. It's chaotic. There can be rubble, there can be, all these things happening around us. So sometimes we need to rest and we need to replenish. So I think it's really important around your new moon ritual to do some restful activities at this time. And it's something we're going to have to embrace through this Mars retrograde, that you're going to be more tired than usual. So get okay with that and learn to move a little slower. It doesn't mean you're not being productive. We're supposed to be going, remember, into the Venus, the Taurus, the Venusian energy of receiving, of abundance, of flowing, and not necessarily the Mars act and do and force and control. Let it go. Receive and rest at this time. And with that, I'll give you 3 ritual ideas that you can do around the time of this new moon solar eclipse. You can do these rituals up to 5 days before and to 5 days after the new moon. I usually say 3, but remember, eclipses are new moons on steroids, so you have a little bit more time to work with this energy. So the number 1 ritual that I would recommend doing around the time of this new moon is to honor Venus. You could see in the chart that Venus was smashed into this eclipse energy. She's debilitated in Scorpio, and she's really been through it in the astrology. If you haven't caught my Venus's journey in the last 9 months through these zodiacs, she's been through it. You can go back and watch that video after this one, but oh my God, she has been through it. Therefore, our relationships, what we value, how we love, our self-love has been through it as well. So with that, I'm gonna honor her in my ritual as the goddess of love, of our self-love, of beauty, of harmony, of our creativity, of our money, of our values. I want to show her that I really feel for her and that these are areas of my life that I too honor. So with honoring her, I am honoring those things within myself. So what does that look like in a new moon ritual? Well, think of Venus and beauty. I'm gonna dress more feminine in the next couple days around the eclipse. I'm gonna wear pink and more flowy things. I'm gonna dress like my goddess self that I am, wearing more jewelry that makes me feel like a goddess. In my ritual, I'm gonna have rose petals, sprinkle rose petals around me, or put roses on my desk or roses on my altar when I do my oracle cards. I'm gonna have pink and red candles that I'm gonna use to light my sage bundles or my Palo Santo. I'll write myself a love letter because it's also about self-love during my ritual. Because she rules abundance and prosperity, I will have fresh fruits and things from the earth that make me feel very alive and abundant. So make it your own, be creative, Google Venus as a goddess and see if there's anything that you read about her that resonates with you, and you can incorporate those items or things into your ritual. The second thing I would do around the time of this new moon partial solar eclipse is work on your intuition. Scorpio being so connected to our intuition, this would be really good to sit in meditation, to sit in silence, using a pendulum, using your oracle cards. You could do tarot cards, or like I said, guided writing. Anything where you can kind of connect with your own intuition would be super beneficial, and the energy is really potent for that. So if you're someone that's always wanted to get into these things, but you just don't know how, the energy right now in the astrology is going to be more open to you learning and tapping into your intuition. So all you have to do is spend some time with yourself developing this part of you. And the last thing that you can do around this new moon partial solar eclipse is a ritual around releasing, of letting go. If you know already what parts of your life need to be removed, you can write a ritual around that. So what that would look like is taking a piece of paper and writing everything down that you need to release or let go of in your life. So maybe that's clean out your closets and let go of old clutter. Maybe it's letting go of an old friendship. Maybe it's letting go of your job and trying to find a new one. Whatever in your life needs to be released or let go of, write it down on a piece of paper. You can burn it, you can rip it up. But before you do that, thank the universe, thank God for giving that to you in the first place, of the lessons that you learned from that thing, and release with love. Because again, Venus is so involved with this new moon. We need to release things with love, and then we feel lighter and better about it. That's all I have for you today. I hope you found this video very helpful in understanding the chaotic energy. Like and subscribe to my channel if you're interested in more astrological content. Being that we are holistic soul sisters, I do intend to bring you more videos on helping you heal holistically, grow spiritually, work on your energy. But if you enjoy these astrological videos and want more of that, you can head over to TikTok at The Relational Astrologer, where I bring you short form videos that help you understand yourself, the relationship you have with yourself and others, by understanding your birth chart and the current astro weather. Thank you so much for tuning in. I value you. I appreciate you. I am feeling so grateful that I'm seeing my subscriber count go up little by little after doing this YouTube channel for almost 2 years. For everyone that's been leaving me comments, giving me feedback, letting me know how this is helping you, that is so appreciated. And if you write in the comments below what your rising sign is, I will comment back where this new moon eclipse is happening in your chart and some tips and advice that can help you from a relationship perspective to work with the energy of this eclipse. Go ahead and watch the Venus's journey through the astrology, or go ahead and watch that 2022 astrological forecast video where I talk all about this Taurus and Scorpio eclipse cycle. All right, everyone, I will catch you in the next video.